about 10ish. I don't know. I can't check. Um, I got up around 5 or so. I took a look at the progress. Actually, that's not true. I was up a few times earlier as well, and it was stuck. Um, at around 160,000 in pass 4. So it was stuck there. Um, I got up a few times and it was stuck at the same spot. So around 5 o'clock, um, see, I noticed that I had that little, your Windows is not verified, which is incorrect. Or so was it? Your Windows is not genuine. My Windows is perfectly fucking genuine. I got it from the Carleton University depository when I was there. Um, Perfectly valid version of Windows. Um, but Microsoft is kind of. I mean, people think you can get it. In fact, Microsoft copied Apple, right? It was Apple that did this first, right? I mean, there is a way out of this, and it's Linux. And on this machine, I'm not that far from moving to it. If I'm not sure if the BIOS will let me, but it wants to phone home and double check that your software is valid. And like I said, Apple did this first, right? It's not like Apple's somehow less. No, Apple did this first, and Microsoft copied them. So I got my little not genuine. The reason it does that is because I have my checker turned off. It's a service. It's just resources, right? I'm normally plugged into the internet, so normally all I have to do is turn the software protection on for a couple of seconds, and then it goes away. But I started thinking. I mean, I did that, but I mean, it was still stuck, and I started thinking, well, maybe it stopped. Maybe it got me stuck in that point because I thought I was running pirated software, which is like, thanks Microsoft, you're gonna stop a check disk because of your profit motive, you assholes. Anyways, I did that, but it didn't get it going again. So I stopped it and I restarted it, and it very quickly got back to the same spot and then stopped. And then I fell back asleep for a few hours. When I woke up, it was around 8, and the machine had rebooted. So I don't know. Did the check disk finish? Did the machine crash? Um, I don't know. But I decided, okay, let's go into safe mode and try it again. It took me like, it's the weirdest thing. Like I boot into safe mode and it comes up into regular mode. What? And it was getting stuck on the plug and play. It was doing a lot of strange things. And eventually they let me into safe mode, and it's basically stuck at the same spot. So, um, check disks can sometimes take a very, very long time. For me to conclude that it's frozen is... See, the only reason I concluded it was frozen on the other one is because I looked at the RAM usage. And the RAM usage was at like 98%. And it was like, okay, like, you're stuck, right? You're frozen, right? I'm in safe mode now, so I can't really check. But you would think that the resources are going to be a little lower because it's only, supposedly, necessary things that load. Um, but I mean, it actually should not have turned off. These batteries are. Yeah, it's 10:30. I didn't think I had a fresh pair of batteries, but I did. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to let this sit for a little bit longer. Um, if it's stuck at 160, as it is, see, that's exactly the same spot. Um, I could always try and boot it from. See, I feel like I need to complete this check disk. Um, and like I said, I don't know if it completed last time or if it crashed or what, but I suspect that I might have just ran out of RAM and it might have just like, no memory stop. But I don't know if the turning like the checking for the license, that might have been what took it over the top though. Um, I could put a Windows 7 disk in, boot from it, and run it from there. But if the problem is that I'm low on RAM and I'm running out of a RAM disk, that almost seems like it's kind of like that doesn't. It seems counterintuitive, right? That said, if this doesn't complete, um, okay, it's at 161120. I'm gonna get something to eat. If it's still at the same point when I'm done eating, I guess I'm gonna want to try it from the RAM disk and go from there. Although, like I said, to me that's counterintuitive. But I mean, try one thing, it doesn't work, try something else, right? See, I don't know how much. Obviously, launching an operating system, even in safe mode, is going to put some kernel resources in RAM. It's just a question of what's more, right? Do I use more RAM with a RAM disk, or do I use more RAM with a kernel? And I would think that I probably use more RAM with a RAM disk, actually, because I've got a hard drive, you know? But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. But like I said, if this doesn't work, we'll try the other way. Try the other way. I'll give it until I'm done eating. It's just, I mean, it doesn't have to complete. It's just it has to move. Because I believe that it got stuck there like that for like hours this morning. But I mean, I was sleeping. I can't be for sure. And I don't know what happened. Like I could have even had like a brief power outage, right? I don't know. I just don't. But let's get something to eat and come back and check. I don't. Again, like I moved down here to finish my discography, and even up to the end of March, I was making, like the concert review thing is a part of the process, right? And that, I mean, it took a lot longer than I wanted it to. It's not done yet. In fact, it's like not even half done yet. Um, like it's taking way longer than I wanted it to, but at the same time, that's something that I gotta do, right? I think that the thing that is a little bit upsetting to me is that I put the ultra reality off, and um, I think I may want to consider, instead of going right back to the concert reviews, I may want to get back to the ultra reality, right, and kind of catch up a little bit. But you have to keep in mind that there was a reason I put the ultra reality aside, and it was because I can't remember exactly, but I had decided that I have to do the journal updates before I get back to the ultra reality, and there was a reason for it, right? And why did I stop to do the concert reviews instead of the? Yeah, because I was. My logic there might be. I might be able to revisit my logic there. And instead of getting back to the concert reviews, I could finish the journal and then get back to the ultra reality and then do the concert reviews after. Out of all of this mess, the thing that's irritating me is that I wanted to have the ultra reality solid, and this chunk of space, right? It would have been the first half of 1997. Is not really that big a deal, and in fact, even moving into the second half of 1997, um, we can reconstruct that, right? if anything, the way that this is going to come up, because there wasn't really anything in the summer, right? The summer of 1997, I think I mostly spent working. Um, well, and I had moved, right? So, and I mean, I wasn't that second half of, or the second demo, wasn't really. What I'm trying to get at is that if I come out and I do all of the Ultra Reality all at the same time in like the middle of July or something, that may actually be more realistic, in the sense that I wasn't really talking with anybody or updating anything, right? When did I stop? I stopped at Christmas, I think. And then I got grounded, right? So there actually was like a 3 month break there. I didn't get back into it again until like March. But I mean, I've lost an entire semester there. Um, and that's, I mean, everything else. I mean, I want to juggle this or that. I got to do this or that, one way or the other, right? But I wanted that ultra reality to be solid. So I think that once I get this back up, and I get the well, I got to get this back up. I got to finish the concert look ahead. Am I going anywhere this weekend? Um, they added a few more DJs to that DJ set. It didn't look that interesting. The thing here, there's something here in Windsor on Saturday that I was thinking about, but the initial samples were not quite what I was thinking. Um, I'd say right now it's doubtful. But I mean, like, I feel good. I could go. It's just, I don't think that I'm going to be that into it. It's just either of them. Um, I want to avoid going out all nights on Saturdays, um, because as of right now, there's no. I was experimenting with the Far Walk place, but I mean, they're not. They've got the cops on them. They're closing early. It's just like they're not. If I want an after hours space that's open until 7 or 8, it doesn't seem like that's existing. Um, Even the after hours spaces that what I can see exist, they all want to close at 5 or 6. Which I mean, like like who parties until 8 a.m. right? I mean, I might be a little bit extreme, right? But at the same time, I gotta wait for the bus on Sunday mornings, right? It's awful. Like, like who runs the bus service? The fucking church, Like, why is it designed to have Sundays off? Like, you would think that Sunday morning should be the earliest because people are out partying on Saturday, right? Like, we need to redesign our social services to have, modern secular uh, motives, and understandings, right? Because it's the truth. You go on Sunday mornings at 8 o'clock, and there's always people that are like, "Yeah, I've been here for 3 hours." Yeah, because the bus doesn't run until 8:30. Like, what year is it, right? So, but anyways, it makes it like Saturday nights in Detroit are kind of shitty because of that for me because I've got to get back over, right? And it's like I have to wait until 8 o'clock in the morning before I can get back over. It's not fun. I mean, I'll do it if it's something specific, but just like I'm just going out to party on Saturdays, it's like, well, I mean, last time I went was Movement, and I knew that was gonna happen, and that was just like a part of the process, right? Just it was that weekend, right? And the time before that was Aphrodite, which was something that I thought was worthwhile. It was maybe a little disappointing. And the time before that was a chip tune, but I mean, with the chip tune, I was intending to go to the Far Club, and I thought the Far Club would be open later. I was only at the Far Club there that night for like an hour, right? It was kind of shitty. Um, but they were closed at like 5. I was hoping they'd be open until like 6 or 7 anyways, right? But I just had to get out and get some coffee. And then I wasn't out in April. Or at least not overnight. Right? Well, I was on the... Yeah, there was the Dopa Pod night. Which I was there for a couple hours, but I mean not... The point being that, like, I've done my experiments, and I've learned that even if I can get a good DJ set, I mean, it's been variable, that nowhere's open. Like they might... Maybe I don't know where the right space is, right? And maybe even the space I'm looking for is not even like a club, but just like a place to hang out kind of thing, right? Which is not... Truth is, I'd probably rather hang out at a diner than in a, you know, in a room full of tweakers, you know, snorting crack or snorting coke, right? Like I'd rather be at the diner with the old people than at the after hours party with the tweakers, you know, snorting shit. That's, you know, popping meth or whatever, right? Like I don't. That's really not somewhere I want to be, right? Um, I mean, all the places that I've tried to get to and I've planned to be open late, they never are, right? So if I can find some other option, but I mean, for now, there isn't one, and, you know, hey, Detroit Chamber of Commerce, you're doing yourself a disservice by keeping people out of your city um, on Saturday nights. Yeah. You'd think you'd want to bring people into your city on Saturday nights, right? But what you're actually doing is you're providing strong disincentives for people to come into your city and spend money on Saturday nights, because you've got to be done at 2 o'clock, you know, and that's kind of lame. Um, anyways, or I mean, even if you can extend it to 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, I'm still on Saturday nights. It's still shit, right? So the Friday, the thing that I'd be more, the thing that's happening this weekend's on a Friday night, so it's a little bit more appealing because I can catch the bus at 5 o'clock, right? They're only open till 4, but I can catch the bus at 5. Well, it's not. It's more like 5:30, but still, it's not, and it's a long walk, right? So it's the long walk, so it'll take like 40 minutes or so to get back. If I get out of there, you know, around 4:30ish or so, you know, it'll be just a few minutes waiting for the bus, and that's almost ideal for me because I like to walk, right? Especially in the morning. You go to the bar at 4:30, take an hour walk back to the bus station. To me, that's great. I love that. That sounds like a great end of the night, right? I know some people might think that's crazy, but for me, that's, you know, you walk out, you're still inebriated, but kind of coming down a little. Hour-long walk in the morning, nice, you know, nice air, birds chirping, sun's coming up. Yeah, that's a great time in my opinion, right? Um, but I'm not sure that like I don't. From what I can see with the DJs, that doesn't seem right. How did I get on this? What am I doing? Yeah, so I gotta check that. Has it come up at all? No, it's stuck at the same spot. But I mean, it's a check disk. That's what check disks do, right? Is they get stuck. The only reason I'm convinced it's stuck is because I think it's run out of RAM, right? The CD drive in that thing is terrible. But I'm just gonna go ahead and do it because it's stuck. So I'm gonna go ahead and write it off. Find me a Windows 7 disk and try and run it from there. Sorry, what I was saying was I'm gonna get that back up. I've got to get a little bit of editing to do still. Check the show listings. And instead of getting back to the concert reviews, see, I mean, this is the story, right? I was almost done. I had a few more days worth of editing left, but now my hard drive's crashed. I've lost. It hasn't crashed, but the virtual machine crashed. I can't get the data off. I gotta waste 3 or 4 days dealing with that. After wasting all these days dealing with the computer being broken in the first place. But I don't think I need to get right back to the concert reviews. I can kind of maybe put that aside. I want to get back to the Ultra Reality. And I'm gonna have to go back and read my logic as to why did I put it aside. Because I think I put the Ultra Reality aside because I wanted to finish the journal. And I think there was a reason for that. Because I wanted to have the data what's the word I'm looking for here? Consolidated, like coordinated all the way through. But it wasn't supposed to take this long, right? And if I don't get back to the Ultra Reality soon, I'm going to lose it. So, and this was a big part of it. It was a big part of building the period disk, was having the journal entries. So I got to go back and figure out where, I don't even remember why or what my thinking was, right? I know that I was doing the journal and it took a long time, and then I started doing the concert reviews instead because I was going to bring that back to the journal. But whatever I do with the concert reviews afterwards, I can do that on top of it, right? And so long as I'm keeping up to date with the Ultra Reality. So I mean, this is ridiculous, but this is my life, and I'm trying to. I go through this every little once in a while. I get lost on this escapade, and it's like I have to get back to doing something productive related to my discography. I have to do it, right? And I'm at that point again. It's like I got to do it. And I'm gonna stay in this weekend and do something. Probably, yeah. But we'll. I don't want to. I should have already done this, right? It's just I can't because of that. So. In fact, no, you know what? Let's figure out what I'm doing first. Because in the end, I might run the checklist before I go out tomorrow. Yeah. I know this is. It's a catastrophe. Okay. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to boot back into Windows. I'm going to finish the show listing updates. And then get back to the editing after. In fact, I might as well watch those vlogs. I was supposed to do that last night, but I never finished the checklist. Before I figure out what I'm doing with the, yeah. Okay. It's 7 files. So 7 files that I've got problems with. I'm only getting 20 minutes on these now. Or did I just rotated it. I don't know. It's weird. And I've got a full bar now. Anyways, Um, I've got 7 fragments. One for the 5-6 is like important for the plot, and the one for 7 and 8 is like it's almost the whole vlog. It's too long, so I've got to get something out of that anyway. But let's it doesn't have to be right now. I should do the other things first, and then yeah. What's with the my batteries are all screwy. I've got a full bar now. Anyways, let's I'll come back to that after because I've got to actually do something. I'm sick of sitting around waiting. Let's do something, and if I need to run a check disk to actually get to those, so be it. But we'll go from there. It is at least finally warming up, though. Look at this. There's some summer. Finally. Okay. Maybe I'll find something to do this week after all, huh? Okay, today was a little less productive than I would have liked. Due to the UK election. Which I kind of forgot about. But in the end kind of got sucked into. I guess you can check out the little blog section at the bottom there, or in the description. I kind of called it. Excuse me, I kind of called it, but I mean it wasn't. The reason that I nailed it was because I was able to read the polls correctly. I did what I often do, which is, I pulled out some media reports. I was like, okay, this is the elite obviously wants a switch. Although it's a two-pronged approach. Excuse me. They set the Conservatives up with a weak government, and it won't last long. It's a change of power that's happening in the UK. It's just, they couldn't do it all at once because it would have been unbelievable. But I didn't. The reason I suggested that it was likely to be a hung parliament is because that's what the poll said. It's just that I knew how to read the polls. It's just a question of numerical literacy, or just basic numeracy. And this isn't the first time that this has come up, right? Where I come up with a completely different prediction than what the media suggests. And it's not any deep insight, it's just I know how to read the polls. I know how to read them. And unfortunately, most people, including most journalists, don't have the financial, well, they probably don't have the financial literacy either, but they don't have the numerical literacy to read polls. I mentioned this in the blog. It's like grade 10 math. Like, we're not doing anything complicated here. I'm just reading the results. And being able to, deal with ratios in basic, simple ways. It's grade 10 math. Even that's maybe a bit of an exaggeration. But the media can't do it. The journalists can't do it. And the polling companies can do it, but they. Excuse me. They present the data the way the media companies want it, right? So I called it, but I don't claim I did anything other than read the polls correctly. And if you didn't get it, then it's because you didn't know how to read the polls. And I'm sorry, but that's the reality of it. So I spent a bunch of time doing that this afternoon. I also completed the concert listing run through. Tomorrow is not. Excuse me. It's not even that. Well, I'll double check. They decided they're going to close it at 2, which is like, but no, I mean, like, it defeats the point for me, right? Oh, excuse me. If I'm going out dancing, then and the place has done it too. You know what I mean? It's not like, the set doesn't look that great, so I think we'll just skip tomorrow. We'll probably skip Saturday. I'm planning around next weekend as the big weekend out. We'll see how the solstice works out after that, but excuse me, I'm planning on next weekend. Probably both Friday and Saturday, depending on how I'm feeling and the weather and everything. But that's gonna be my nights out. Is probably next weekend. As you can hear, I'm kind of tired, so I'm just gonna get to it. I think it's about 4 o'clock. Um, I didn't watch the vlogs I wanted to watch. It's fine. I'll watch them in the morning. I've got my computer off for the first time in a long time, and I think it needs to be to cool down a little. But not as productive as I might like, but it's what it is, and I gotta get some rest. I did spend a lot of time on the election, but I also spent a lot of time just listening. You know, it was one of those kinds of days. Okay, so we got that's done, and I guess I'll get to that tomorrow. And I'll see you then.